I'm often asked as a family law practitioner whether my schedule gets a little less hectic, is a little less frantic during this time of year. And in actuality, it's actually quite often the opposite is more often the case. And the reason for that is the holidays and what the holidays bring. And more specifically, parenting time during the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas Eve, Hanukkah, the break between Christmas and New Year's. And quite often parents, and this is more true for new parents, parents that are going through the process for the first time, maybe they haven't finalized their agreement, they sort of become entrenched in the idea that they are to spend the entire holidays with their children, leaving their spouse with little or no time for quality time during the holidays. And so what happens if they can't resolve this, they get the attorneys involved. And when I get those calls, I am completely empathetic to what the parents are going through. I understand that the holidays are a difficult time and maybe the first time of separation for these individuals. And so I take this challenge seriously. And I have an obligation, though, to not only balance that with what their needs are, with what's going to happen in the event they can't settle the matter. My first obligation always is to try to avoid court time. We've been through this process. We've talked about this before, how costly it is, how time-consuming it is, and how unpredictable the results can be. And I'm not saying here that the courts don't do a good job with this. They do. But when the courts get involved, the parents are in effect abdicating their rights, their obligation, and their duty to control their own destiny in this matter. And we never want to do that. So, what happens when I get those calls? I speak to the clients. It's my job to tell them what will happen if we can't settle the case. And the first rule always is, it's the best interest of the children that's paramount, not the parents' best interest. Sometimes those get confused, or sometimes the parents think they know what the best interests are. But we have to realize it's the children's best interest. Second, and this is a point that's important, the courts generally, absent other circumstances, will conclude that each party is entitled to 50% of the time with their children, and more specifically, 50% of the holiday time, irrespective of who has custody. Third is sort of a balancing act. What we try to do is educate the parents and all involved that maybe there's a trade-off. Maybe we can alternate the day. Maybe we could work out a system by alternating the years. For example, someone gets Christmas Eve this year, and they alternated Christmas Eve next year. And we've reduced that to writing as soon as we can so that the parents know, although there may be a compromise this year, the plan is set forward in the future and they'll know how to make plans and that this issue won't come up every year. I am very mindful of tradition. I'm very mindful of how the parents and children cherish certain holidays and they become sort of the family's history. And I take that into account when I try to resolve this. But balanced against that is they're now going through a divorce and nothing is quite the same as it was before. So they have to work out a system that perhaps they'll get the holiday they want if they give more time on a less meaningful holiday, something that's not as important to them. And if they can understand that, we can move forward. Finally, the most important point, never involve the children in the process. Those calls that we get, when a child is calling a father and telling him that she's not going to be able to see him during the holidays, those are terrible. Those do not work. We never want to do that because the next call we're going to get is about alienation and about change of custody and how the parent is influencing the children. And more important, even than that, is why do we want to add stress to these children whose anxiety is already heightened because for the first time they're dealing with holidays where they're not seeing both parents? So see, these are some of the factors. Thrown into the mix, of course, this year is the pandemic, which, as we have seen, affects every area of life. And I can be certain that we're going to get the calls this year that some parent is trying to restrict parenting time, holiday time, because of the coronavirus. But we've dealt with that issue too. And remember, a generalized fear of the coronavirus will never impede and will never get in the way of a parent's holiday, vacation, parenting time. That will not happen. That's not to say that if parents can articulate a specific fear or safety issue or health-related cause, that it will not be taken into effect. But generally, it has to be more than a generalized fear. And lastly, never use self-help. What do I mean by that? Never be the parent who, without a court order, without an agreement with the other party, that simply doesn't bring the children during the holidays for a trade-off on parenting time. This will never go over well. We have to abide, we have to try to work out an agreement and work together. It's my hope that some of these tips can help parents navigate this holiday process during a difficult time so that they can put these issues to rest and have a safe, healthy, and happy holiday with their families.